Comping. Yeah, main thing that we're hired for, to outline the chords. And depending on how much budget there is, we might be, oh, thank you so much. Depending on how much budget there is, sometimes we need to do everything at once. Sometimes we need to provide harmony, bass. Sometimes we need to put some sort of middle section that is like a solo, impromptu arrangement. Sometimes on the tunes that we've never seen before. Again, there's so many things that that come to mind, because a lot of players have it really well organized, all the concepts and all the things and inversions and drop two voicings and this line and these voices. I have way more intuitive thing going, and it's strictly from practical reasons. I was asked to do some work many years before, and it's like, hey, you'll be comping a singer, and there are real book charts, and that's it. So it's just winging it in one way or another. But then after a while, it was like, hey, there was more of this stuff coming. So it would be nice to maybe think a bit how to handle those things. What I've found to be a good starting point is not think too much and just and go for a very simple solutions, because I'm there to comp, to provide outline, not to shine, not to sit over the whole audible spectrum. It's just about providing backing to whoever is playing the lead line. So, say, well, as an easy example, let's start with blues in C, something easily relatable without too many chords or too many tricks. Perfectly valid way to comp. Like offensively simple chord shapes that contain only essential information. So maybe this is not my favorite C7, right? But it's just to have some good point of start. 3 fingers, shell voicings. This one contains root, 3rd, and 7th. So it's C7, tiny little triangle. I just moved this thing. Okay, it's visible. Okay, so starts on A string, 3rd fret, 2nd fret, and 3rd fret on G string. Tiny little triangle shape, perfectly movable. C, C7, D7, E7, F7. Works on set of 3rd, 4th, and 5th string, as well as 4th, 5th, and 6th. Right. So if the same shape does the job. Okay. So we can use it as a simple jump start, as an entry point. So these are our simple things. Okay, from this position I can move this root between root and 5th. Okay, so there is a bit of a movement there. what else? In the key of C. First crutch that I have, open E string as a third. Another thing, tiny little half step movements of chords. Or just bass line. From half step above. Sounds proper, sounds like a proper dominance tension. But maybe not all the time, because then it sounds repetitive. But in general, if I were to do something like a jazz blues in C, usually already in second bar I have a change to 4 chord, to F7. So I need to be prepared to do this movement right away. So it would be something like this possibly. So it's my favorite tiny triangle shape. Then open C, open E, and I'm already in. Everything that I do from now is with anticipation of F7 that is coming up. So C, bass notes are C, E, then G, G flat, F. Right. So this is one of the ways. I can play this walking line like this, or I can just go down from the very start, because why not? This was roughly a lot of things, everything and anything, but maybe while we're here, let's pretend that the chords are not changing yet, because I'd like to talk a little bit about those accents where I put this little chord stub there on top of that, because it's not a right thing at every possible spot, but I tend to develop this obsession with keeping walking line going all the time. For some reason, I feel like when it's missing, it sounds like a mistake. That something, the lowest voice, when it stops playing, it feels like the pulse is gone. It's just me. I heard players doing different things. Chord melody players tend to shuffle all these things, melody on top, chord, and some sort of bass response. They don't obsess about having this walking bass going, but I kind of developed this idea of handling it this way, and kind of works for me until it doesn't. But then, you know, there are certain situations where it's just nice to let go a little bit. But in general, when we have this sort of groove-based thing, and we want to bring this impression of like a reduced arrangement of both harmony, rhythm, and bass at the same time, I think this is a kind of, it's a crutch, the strategy that works for me at least, and it doesn't require that much of a workload. So. Yes, C7, simple little triangle chord, offensively simple. This is one of those bass riffs, right? I'm doing C, E, G, B flat, or some sort of variation, flip the direction, and of course it's pick or thumb depending on the mood and sound that I'm aiming for. Usually it's pick. I use hybrid picking most of the time. So what is happening with picking hand? Bringing it to basics is something that I've been banging on for past 7 years. With my thumb independence videos, pretty much the same concept. Accents are either on the beat with bass note, and this is our metronome, this is our ruler, right? 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I can have chord on beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. It's not interesting. Or I can have them on upbeats, right? In between, so we don't think of it. Oh, it's end of something. It's just after the after bass notes. Simplified thinking. Everything by feel, everything by ear. We don't have to count those things. Like however it feels right, it's right. So maybe slowly. So here I just did 2 rhythms, right? And one, end of 1, I believe, 1 and 3 end of 3. Important thing that it's so that the bass note is not repeated. It's okay. So I just moved chords around, and key thing is that there doesn't have to be much of complexity. Sometimes it's more important to stay out of the way. So deciding whether I want to keep those accented chords long or short is more important than fancy stuff. And in a second I'll get to the to one of the traps that comes when it comes to comping, that if I'm not familiar with the melody and the singer is singing and I look at the chart and I have fancy stuff going on, I have chords with sharp 11s, I have flat 9s, sharp 9s, flat 13s and augmented chords, I need to make sure that my voicings don't clash with the melody, because sometimes by default we have a minor tune in minor key, and there's minor 2 5 1, D half diminished, G flat 9 to C minor or something like that, and it turns out that this flat 9 in the top voice clashes with the singer's singing root, and we basically together perform perfect dissonance of minor second suddenly, and the singer is very uncomfortable because it's within the range of his voice, and naturally we tend to gravitate towards what we hear to reduce tensions and dissonances. So this is one of the things that we need to be very aware that if there is a new tune and singer is doing something fancy, possibly clever chords, might be a little bit tricky thing, but it applies to anything. There are certain tunes that are written the way that sometimes using certain chords with upper structure, though in theory should work because they're diatonic to the key and everything, they just clash with melody because the melody has been written that way, right? And a little bit of a see and avoid thing. I mean, apart from practice and taste, it's just like, well, whatever sounds right, but it's very important to develop the feel of what is right, what feels right. Okay, let's go back to the blues, because this is a ranting video like every single thing that I do. It's unstructured. I have an idea. Okay, it's very, very late. I'm gonna do a live stream, and today I'm gonna talk about things that bother me because I just played a gig and I didn't like certain things I did on the gig. So I want to rethink certain aspects of what we're doing. Oh yeah. Simplifying things from C to F. Let's have a look at this first movement of C to F. So even though my first chord is C7 for one bar, then second bar F7, already pointed at this F7, right? From the very, very start, my comping line is driven by the chord change. So C7, F7. And let's have a look at this thing, because I truly believe that if we look at simple principles of making, of threading, walking bass lines, even those simple bass lines that guitarists play, guitarists play as accompanying things, they have a lot to do with playing bebop lines. It's pretty much about right and tasty resolution on the chord tones using chromatics. Oh, is it? Wait, what? I should be back. Let me check. Okay, I see that I'm sending the sound. Oh, okay. I'm so all right. I'm okay. Glad we sorted it. Okay, so C to F7, and because the shape is very simple, right? We're just moving one simple triangle from 3rd fret to 8th fret. But it's important what's happening in here. So this is most straightforward way of going from C to F with feeling 4 beats of the bar. Do, 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 do. So here I'm pretty much going up the major scale, but because I need to target note F, I'll have to add extra chromatic notes. So C, D, D sharp, E, F, do, 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 do. If I went to go the other way, down from C, I can just do C, B flat, G, C, B flat, A, G, F, right? Or this one. Usually when we're close to the note that we're targeting, there'll be some chromatics, some half-step movements to fill those gaps. Okay, so here we are. C, F, and right away I'm coming back. F, E flat, D, D flat, C. Okay, so for my C7, this is, I use my simple triangle shape. For F7, simple triangle shape. For G7, I am using this one. So it's G with index finger on 3rd fret on E string, 3rd fret on D string, 4th fret on G string. So far, what I did there, because it's just like demonstration of concept. It's not like, oh, that's the play, or this is like pattern 17B, right? -8 that I'm gonna use on blues on Tuesday on 9:30 every time. It's not none of that. It's just a mixture of certain concepts that we can break down, like what's going on there. So I went from C7 to F7 and back, and while I'm here, right, to F7. For F7 here, I'm using the same shape that I just showed on G7. So 1st fret on E string, 1st fret on D string, 2nd fret on G string. And here, open string, F, 1st fret on E string, open A, 1st fret, 2nd fret, and back to C. So that's not how I played it. Yeah. F. Right. Because I have 2 bars of F. So what can I do on those 2 bars of F? I can repeat the groove. But then I'm targeting C, half step before the chord. Right? Back to C. Another thing, sometimes when I need to stay on the chord, but I don't want to go too far, I just move half step below, sometimes half step above. Sometimes whole step diatonically up, so that it doesn't fall apart, that I can still play something without repeating the notes. Nothing wrong with repeating notes, that's another thing. Or something like that, right? So it's more about just doing things that are comfortable, and I like to reduce workload, because usually sometimes I like adding little back cycles, additional chords, but I don't think of them as extra harmony. They're more like, oh, it's an embellishment. It's something that doesn't really introduce anything new or contradicting what is written, but adds a little bit of movement. Say like some sort of extra turnaround or little substitutions. just flipping the fingers. Well, it's hybrid. Sometimes I use an unarmored thumb. The thing with fingers, because this is something that I actually I tried a lot of different concepts, and my thing is that usually I do hybrid most of the time. Yes, middle ring, sometimes pinky on chords as well, but most of the time it's just those two. The thing is that I usually need to do some sort of lead line as well, and I like consistency of pick. I play with very light touch when situation permits. That's another thing. Clean guitar is very vulnerable. It's very easy to mask it in a busy playing band. Guitar is the first thing that will take the beating, and usually I'll just stop hearing myself. I play pretty much clean tone 99% of so these lines I just like flat pick, but certain tunes just ask for a little bit of more of a human touch, more rough approach. And again, from here there are at least two ways of approaching it. Either thinking like a pick player, that my thumb is instead of my downstroke and my index is instead of my upstroke. But actual finger pickers, and I used to be one for quite a while, I prefer to start with index and use some sort of repetitive pattern like index, thumb, third, for example. It's been years and I'm out of practice, but I used to. It's also not necessarily regular. Sometimes there are certain instruments like string skips that just work better with whatever feels intuitive, right? So, but I like starting whenever I use my fingers. I like starting lines with index. So in this case, index, thumb, third, index, thumb, third, and it doesn't correspond with fretting hand. So the best thing to do is just not trying to think about the order. It's like trying to make this order natural, automated. one of my guitar teachers. I mean, I only had one guitar teacher in my life. He was a huge finger picker and very avant-garde player. I mean, he kind of didn't have really any specific system. I mean, it seems that there was a sequence, but there was so many exceptions to make it work that it's like, I'd say Chet Atkins had his am I doing finger picking stuff? Pretty much only in context of comping. I still carry thumb. I don't leave my house without a thumb pick, but I don't do really like finger picking arrangements anymore. It's because for a simple reason, there is no outlet where I am nor scene that this style is in any way sustained. I also don't have that much time to work on it as a, you know, it was important thing to plunge into and explore and learn from, but I don't really have either project or musicians or a scene when I can make this style usable in any way. And right now I pretty much only do jazz gigs. So I still have fingernails and everything, but and actually, I sometimes like to use thumping in jazz context as well, though it's a different sound, and it's only when it's I wouldn't say strictly acoustic situation, but when there is a right environment for it, it works really great. But again, you need right drummer, you need right bass player, you need basically listening and respectful musicians to make this thing work. We did a little gypsy jazz session in a loud pub, and numerous times I tried to play Mr. Sandman, that or some other like Cannibal or something, when it's just too loud and the lead line that is on top I cannot go beyond certain physical force that I put on those on this line, because it will simply it will become snappy and it won't be any louder. It actually, with guitars, there is this sort of paradox that the more physical punch I put into the string, the more energy is actually wasted on the rebound of string. Less energy is actually happening as a sound. So louder amp and lighter touch usually gives us way larger sound than hard strumming, hard picking, with single exception, but I'll touch on that in a second. So, and those finger picking arrangements are really balanced. They were usually made with guitar being a centerpiece, and the band, you know, on Chet Atkins records, usually there is a very gentle bass, usually gut string bass, with this very, very, not much of a nasal, mid-rangey growl that more modern double basses and this amplification systems tend to have. And just a bit of brushed snare and maybe a hint of rhythm guitar. But what is the most prominent in the mix is electric guitar, and it's played with just right touch. And taking this out in any sort of, oh, you do this finger picking, yeah, play this tune with this, it tends to work really poorly. I mean, there's a lot of work that I need to put to make any of that work, and it's usually quite frustrating, especially on those all those parts that you know, that have some sort of elegance and I mean, these rolls. Now imagine if I had to play at these volumes, and it just simply doesn't work. It makes everything tense, and you know, this sort of playing requires really right environment that I think is not really here. Therefore, well, that's I still I try to keep to keep some of those chops from time to time. I do some of that. I also use this comping in blues context. So. I play duo with harmonica player and singer, and this is one. That's one of the places that I actually still use this sort of ragtime finger picking as well. Yeah, but sorry, I got my mic here. Okay, so yeah, so flat picking and hybrid most of the time, and especially when comping, it's usually flat pick is just bass, just for steady bass, because it's slightly easier to keep the articulation sound, to keep this note from overpowering, right? So it's not ringing all the time. Yeah, chord shapes and other things. So getting to our simple blues things. I like the 6/9 chord instead of C7 usually. I like this 13 chord as a friend, because these are diatonic chords. They usually don't hurt anything. I like this 6 chord as 1 chord instead of 7 chord. So it's C, A, E, and G. sometimes just a simple bar here across one fret. This is my F9 chord. So in usual voicing would look like this on the A string, 8th fret, 7th fret on D string, and a little bar up across the first 3 strings. Right now, because my hand is quite locked here, I cannot move my middle finger from root to play anything meaningful. I can just abandon my 3rd here and just keep this little bar and walk my little bass line with whatever fingers I have left. Right, so this is F9 or C9 here as well. So this is my C7. And this is my C9. To F. Back to C. And turnarounds and things like that. What am I doing? I thought it was a... sorry about that, but I don't know where my mic is pointing. It's an Omni mic, so it doesn't matter, but sometimes it just rubs against me and produces very unpleasant sounds. Or maybe these are sounds from inside of me. Okay. Turnarounds, 1/625s, and things like that. Nice, simple, smooth as execution, depending. It could be in blues context, could be in anything else. So say C6, A7, C6. For C6, I use this voicing, for example. That could be C7. So okay, let's simplify. C7, A7, D minor 7, G7. Okay, so C, A7, D minor 7, G. I use exactly the same shape for C and A in this particular situation. D. This shape is called starship. This one is triangle. This one is starship. Not really. This one is starship. D minor 7, D, F, and C. 5th fret, 3rd fret, 5th fret, and the G, like previous two. And I'm leading with my index finger. Half step above, next chord A, half step above next chord D, half step above next chord. So da ba da dee dun dun dun. And then because I'm just playing bass note, this is just bass note leading to another chord. C, leading to A7, leading to D minor, leading to G. But it sounds quite rich and just larger overall if I actually plonk the whole chord. So I'm just playing C7 to B flat to A to D to D sharp to D minor, A flat to G. So it's like to C7, right? So and mix and match. Sometimes I do. So right, just bass notes, or and I can let the chord ring on top. letting those two notes, G and C sharp of A7, ring. Now we can try another like a little concept exercise, developmental thing. In between all those things, we can play chord thinking of, okay, this is my comping thing, and in between certain things I'll put little melodic phrases. Or something like that. I don't know what I'm doing. Basically, these are improvised lines. It's late. I have nothing specific in mind. It's just, okay, well, this is. Well, it's blues. It's a bluesy blues. So I'm just shuffling single line notes. And some chords. That's what I wanted to do. And the same usual thing. Why am I rumbling? I need to find out why. What are those rumbling sounds? Okay. So, how would I start? Well, you can think call and response. That they're a little melodic line. And then C7. So these lines whenever I play my chord, my line is kind of embedded in top voice of the chord. Right, so I'm thinking, okay, this is my chord, but this top voice is also beginning of the line. And other things as well. But it's mostly trying and experimenting, whatever works, from the point of just things that are familiar to everyone. Tiny little bits, tiny little melodic clusters, tiny little movements of third and seventh, and okay, chords don't have to be complicated to work really well. So something as simple as this little tritone here, which is like third and seventh of C7 instead of full C7. I just play those two notes. And now one more element that we can add to it is call and response between top register of the instrument, top of the range of the instrument, and bottom. So or in reversed order, right? So. Syncopation and rhythmical displacement. I mean, there's a lot of it to unpack in just 1 hour, but these are like general concepts. It's mixing and matching all those tiny little things. None of this stuff is really complicated. Like, it's just a lot of tiny things bolted together. And sometimes clever stuff just simply doesn't make musical sense. It doesn't. Sorry. It doesn't carry anything meaningful aesthetically, which is really the key. And this is also one of the traps that us players are usually falling for, is that we try to work on certain elaborate concepts that can very, very easily lose attention of listener. We're too much obsessing over aesthetics and pushing our own personal boundaries without making meaningful music. And that sometimes certain things just can get lost. But also that's another thing that, well, audience is a wild beast, and you never know what's going to happen, even if it's, you know, so-called. Sometimes casual listeners are really great and appreciative. They might have never heard anything like that before, but they see that there is some sort of excitement there that is shared. And sometimes you do your best in every aspect, and you feel like there is, like, everything fell into place just right, and it has no impact whatsoever. There's simply no attention to whatever we're doing. I mean, I think that it applies to all of the music in general, but I still believe that it's worth trying. and yeah, I'm still working on all those concepts, on finding voicings that I like. Whenever I sit and try to find some sort of sound that I never played before, I just write them down, whatever it is, and try to put it in like a one very chaotic, very chaotic PDF documents that are just chords that are intriguing. And because, well, we have 4 fingers, 6 strings. When it's standard tuning, I mean, there's only that much that can be done. Or this one is really nice. There are only two more difficult chords than this one. This one, half step lower, and this one. I'm not in position to tell anyone how to live their lives, but if you want to try it, don't sue me, because this basically it's a bar over first 2 strings. Then my middle finger is on 3rd fret of G string, and and my ring and pinky are on the 6th fret of D and A string. So this thing is it's a really, really nice large voicing. What else? Oh yeah, I like augmented. I like augmented, and I like sticking augmented triad. I like sticking things on augmented triad. For example, this. I mean, of course, it's not augmented per se. It's just it's actually a variant of minor 6 major 7 chord, blah blah blah. But sometimes just thinking in context of this is a function of harmony and something. It's actually let's, sometimes I feel like whenever I was like 4 years old and there was a piano, and I just tried to see what kind of result I get when I play notes but leave a little gaps between keys, and now I'm going to make a bigger gap between those. How does it sound without having absolutely no idea what these things do, but I was exploring those sounds, right? And then you start learning harmony, learning about music, you see patterns, you hear how it's being done. And sometimes to discover something new is just to get out of the position of knowing and understanding, and be again those 4-year-old that just wants to leave a gap between 2 notes and see what happens. And I still enjoy this exploration that has absolutely nothing to do with, oh, I know how it's going to sound. Well, no, I'm not entirely sure how it's going to sound. I mean, I expect this thing to do a thing, and then I can write it down to not forget what I just did here. So this is augmented triad with dominant 7th and sharp 9. So, well, basically, is it augmented? Well, not really. It's flat 13 chord, right? But it's just voiced with augmented triad, and I think it's quite nice sometimes. Right? It could be. After I find something like this, I check what happens if I move it up a third. Does it still work in the context of? Hey. Right? This thing actually. Resolves quite nicely to C minor 7. All right. I think that would be it. I'm so happy that we've met again, and I could ramble a little bit about guitar, because that's it's a very crucial part of what I love doing, and I still find it enjoyable. There's still so much to explore. I know it's been all done by someone else, but I think learning music is a very personal experience, and trying to put it in some sort of formal progress. First, suddenly it excludes people that might have different set of different aptitude. For example, I have very hard time memorizing things, and I have problem with attention. And my learning process of anything was always very different from anybody else's, because I could not learn things as abstract concepts. I had to explain why they are the way they are, and of course it's way slower, and it's not always easy to recall. Then I need to chunk it down to some other things, like pretty much everyone else. But traditional approach to learning music, and this is a concept of this sort of progression. This is how we do it. These are chord voicings. That's how it is. This is what it is. I, to this very day, I cannot memorize chord diagrams, and I never used them. I never worked with them. They never made sense to me because I had to know, okay, wait. Here's my root. These are intervals. Why are they there? What makes them work in this specific context, right? So, yeah. Therefore, I take some little weird shape. And then check what ingredients are there, and then I write it down and I describe that this thing is very evil D7. It has D on top, it has sharp 11, G sharp, it has flat 9 and 5th. And it resolves really nicely. It's very tense. It's one of those things that looks like exercise. Right, but okay, it's time for me to go. Tomorrow I need to go shopping. Nothing serious, just groceries. Thank you so much, and good night, everyone. Hopefully, if everything aligns perfectly, I'll do one more tomorrow. And then on Thursday, I'm back doing Christmas shows in Antrim. There's still 16, 17, 19 shows up until Christmas. Quite a workout. All right, thanks so much.